And now, surprisingly, step 3, develop your roadmap. The analogy to a cross-country trip is really quite a good one. First you have to set your direction. We just talked about that in terms of articulating and understanding what your desired future state is. And we hit briefly in step 2 about the importance of that so that you can fill in the gaps between the future and current states so that you know how to get from one to the other. Developing the roadmap is now hanging meat on the bones of that, to look at what in detail has to happen to get from here to there. If you do this right, you get a really good to-do list, where you need to focus your attention, where you may need to focus your budget or your development skills. I forgot what I was going to say. A big part, one of the most valuable tools here is the current state analysis, which, at least the way we do it, really breaks down the components of the current state. And as I mentioned, assigns them weights, assigns them scores to help you prioritize which of the things you need to do first, which of the things you need to do most, and try to put together a project plan based on that. Often things can happen in parallel, which is great, because you can shorten the time to the future state that way, rather than try to string things out serially, which can be really frustrating. To go back to the cultural stuff for a moment, the behavioral stuff, it's okay to rig this so that you get some early successes. You identify departments or processes where the people may be so frustrated that, we'll play, we know this can be better, we want this to be better, and you take a smaller bite and you absolutely kill it. I mean, you do so well that the people become ambassadors for what you're trying to accomplish organization-wide. So it's a very daunting task, but again, breaking it down into bite-sized chunks really helps you make some progress on the human front as well as the technological front. And using the current state analysis as a guide, or an index, I guess, to continue the metaphor, to your roadmap is really valuable, because you've really understood now where the bottlenecks are, which needs immediate attention. And you can develop a plan from there. And if you haven't already, really get serious about the budget and the timetable, because the bosses clearly are going to want to know what's going on. And there are organizational mechanisms to apply in here as well. Various kinds of steering committees, let's say, to make sure that the work that's being done continues to align with the organizational objectives. Once you're down in the weeds, it can be really easy to get lost or distracted. So regular check-ins by different committees or subcommittees, rolling it up into some kind of report for the executive sponsor that I really hope you have, that's also critical. And different sort of priority setting results, like, okay, we really should be doing that, but that's a phase 2 item. We don't have the time or the resources to get into that right now. What we're doing works well enough, but we'll get to it. We really need to focus first on this stuff over here. That's phase 1. So developing the roadmap, I guess in some ways, it's like we're taking a 2-week vacation. How do we want to spend that time? It would be nice if we could see other things. That'll take too long. We'll have to make another trip. So that's step 3. Develop your roadmap.